Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's Facebook live chat. And my name is Grelia Steele.
And I'm Paul Lupe.
And I'm Greg Zebrowski.
And like we said last time we were on, we will be talking about local hazards, and we brought in the expert from our office who is our planner, and he will be discussing what we do in the county as an agency to develop plans and identify local hazards.
Yeah, he's going to kind of give you like the behind the scenes of what happens in our office with regards to planning for local hazards, and that's kind of our theme for this month.
So before we get started with your questions, comments, we want to make sure that you tune in, you share the video, and you ask us questions and let us know how you're preparing for local hazards, especially now in the winter. And also we want to make sure that we shout out that we went live on Twitter.
Yeah.
Go Twitter.
Yeah.
So make sure you follow us. Our handle is Ready Fairfax, and the purpose of having our own account as an agency is to share messages on preparedness and let you know what's going on behind the scenes in our agency.
Yeah, so make sure you follow us and don't forget to share that with your friends and family too.
So let's get started. In an effort to, so Paul will be monitoring the comments and the questions that come in live.
That's the plan.
That's the
plan,
right?
We're going to try it,
yeah. So while we wait for that, we could talk about some of the local hazards that we've identified in this area, such as winter weather,
hurricanes. Probably the most common one is the regular severe thunderstorm, mostly wind from that, which usually knocks out power. And that's the biggest thing that we are all usually faced with is power outages in the county and how we deal with that. And they're for a long time.
So some of the ways that I plan as a not only as a person that works for OEM or the Office of Emergency Management, but also with my family, is we make sure that we always have a go bag and at home and also in the car.
Because you're usually stuck in the car, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're going to get stuck. In the car.
Yeah, and so looking at the
area.
especially in the where we have so much traffic. So including items for your kids, I always make sure that we have extra diapers, wipes, games, if we have to be sheltering in place in a certain location.
Monopoly's my favorite for that, actually, because it takes a long time. So it can take away from what's going on because you're playing that game for a while. But yeah, it's always great to prepare. We always encourage folks to have kits and make sure that they're ready. You can't plan for everything, you can't prepare for everything, and we get that too. And I did want to talk maybe about one tip I could offer from a communication standpoint, which is something that during a disaster or a significant event that's in the county, communication can be key if you're not prepared. So typically, we live and die by our cell phones nowadays, I would say, and having chargers for your cell phones, ensuring it's charged before something is coming into the county, if you have notice, is always a good thing. But a car charger for your device so that you could potentially use your car to charge your phone is always a good thing. And really think about having a contact that's not in the area, in the local area, a contact that you could call, a family member or a friend that's somewhere in the western areas of the country, or the Midwest, or in the Northeast, somewhere outside of the immediate area, because we find sometimes calls to those areas will go through if the impact is more local to the Mid-Atlantic region. So it's something to consider and think about when you're thinking about preparedness.
I'm glad you just mentioned that, because Avery is reaching out to us live, and he's asking any information on creating a family communications plan. So some of the tips were shared by Paul. Others would be implementing Facebook or Twitter or any other social networking site on your communications plan, just in case all communications drop. you can rely on other sources to stay in contact.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things. And I think there's some resources available. I know there's readynova.org, a great website you can go to help you walk through what a plan would look like from a family preparedness perspective, and kind of keys you into what you should think about. It helps you fill it out, and then you can print it or save it, and that way you have it available to you. So that's it's a great resource.
Yeah, especially if you have little ones also, whether they're in daycare or in school, you want to also make sure that the school or the daycare provider knows how to reach you and discuss the plan, whether if they're evacuating because of a sudden impact, where your kids will go. So let's go ahead and talk to Greg. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me today.
So we want to ask you about how the county prepares for local disasters.
Sure. One of the first steps that we do is we do an analysis. We call it a HIRA, which is a hazard identification and risk assessment. So we go through and we look at historical data, past trends that have happened, and we do a big analysis on it, and we'll look at the probability of something happening. So as Paul spoke of earlier, in our area, generally extreme weather with tropical storms or cold, but our number one issue that we have in Fairfax County and Northern Virginia as a whole is wind. We have more impact from wind than most any other hazard. So what we'll do is we have that high risk, so we look at what our threats and hazards are, and then we, as the Office of Emergency Management, coordinate with other departments and agencies within the county and other local jurisdictions to put together a plan, which is the Northern Virginia Hazard Mitigation Plan, and we bring inside partners, outside partners, to look at what our risks and what our threats are and how we can best prevent them before they even happen, before they become a problem. We are right in the middle of doing a review and revision of the Northern Virginia Hazard Mitigation Plan, which Fairfax County is leading the charge on, and it's been a little bit over a year process of putting it all together and taking mitigation steps and working with our departments and agencies to see how we can protect the county and the residents of the county better.
Right, and it's something that's kind of ongoing, right? It's always ongoing. It's always kind of refreshing.
It's constant, and it's funny because the last time they did the hazard mitigation plan, shortly after we had the earthquake, which wasn't really considered to be a hazard in our area. So as they were going through it, so that was something new that came up and is now very much within the plan and looked at and addressed.
So what would you suggest for the average person to start doing if they haven't thought about identifying their hazards?
So I think just go through, and you can go to the Fairfax County Emergency Management website and you can look at the hazard mitigation plan, and you can kind of see it's broken down by jurisdiction. So you can look and see what's going to be impacting you in Fairfax County and just kind of think of it. But it's like everything else. You do it in small steps. Look at what you would do or what steps you would take if you can't phone or contact your family members, right? Because communications are down. And then I would build it up to the next step of what if you're kind of stuck in your house and you can't get out? What supplies are you going to need? What kind of a kit or provisions will you need to do it? Then the next step is what happens if you get taken out of your house and you have to go somewhere else? Do you have a plan to go to family members or friends or somewhere else within the local area to go? Or maybe you might have to go further, relatives outside of the state. So just small steps at first is look at what the hazards are as you go, or just taking a good critical look at it. And you just do it one step at a time. You aren't going to be able to do it all of a sudden, all at once.
Yeah, and you can't account for everything. An earthquake's a great example of that. But I mean, at the very least, if you take a look at that plan, you can see the more common hazards in the county and come up with a plan to address those things. You're at least that much farther ahead in planning for something that may occur in the county.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at, you guys were talking about communications, just kind of look at on New Year's Eve when you try and make a phone call or send a text message to one of your family members, like right there for the hour between midnight and 1 o'clock, you barely can get a signal out. So I would say you need to plan on what happens when you can't communicate. Like you said, we become so reliant on our little electronic devices that a lot of us don't think outside the box or have a plan of where you're going to meet. And it's as simple as, you know, we teach fire drills in the home. Where are you going to go? Who are you going to talk to? And just thinking that out and expanding it out is a great way to start.
So it sounds like it doesn't really take much resources in terms of like spending money, but it takes time, it takes dedication, asking the what if questions, looking at your own situation, because our county is so large that one side of the county, flooding may be an issue, not on the other side. So looking at directly what's affecting you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can wind up with snow events where the northern part of the county will wind up with inches of snow, but the southern part of the county can wind up with just rain. So it's being prepared for all of it, staying informed, being informed. We use and we push Fairfax Alerts very much as a program that we can keep the people of the county informed of what's going on, traffic conditions, weather conditions.
I paid him to say that. That was a plug right there. So that's great. Actually, there were a few comments I see coming in that are talking about Fairfax Alerts. So that's always great to hear and see. And just to divert it back to the questions for a minute, we've had a couple of folks, Courtney, I think, and Maddie, have asked a similar question about how do you prepare for a winter storm.
So how do you prepare for a winter storm is to be prepared ahead of time. I know a lot of us have the issue of we have nothing to eat in our house until we can't get out of our house, and then we can find plenty. Have some extra water in the basement or in the cupboard or somewhere where you have it, so you're not rushing out to Costco or the supermarket to be picking it up. You know, milk, bread, eggs, like
get gas in your car.
As you said, have extra diapers on hand. If you're going to lose power, it's good to have a little bit of extra cash on hand in case you can't access the ATMs.
Full tank of gas.
Warm blankets in the car, a shovel, salt, and just be ready for a couple of days of being inside. So having games, entertainment to keep you busy.
And I think staying informed, right? Like
absolutely
watching, paying attention to the media. We have the emergency blog through Fairfax County that you can follow that gives you information about the event that's potentially going on or it may occur or what's happening during the event if it's significant in nature. So those are other ways.
I mean, generally it's the keeping informed. With the snowstorms, the tropical weather, we have an idea of it coming, but sometimes with tornadoes or thunderstorms and stuff like that, it's here on top of us and there's not that chance. So that kind of leads us to an all hazards approach.
And that is actually my next question to you. What is all hazards and how do we convey how we plan for all hazards?
Sure. So to simplify it, I consider all hazards a boom, and it doesn't matter what the boom is, whether it's a thunderstorm, whether it's a tornado, a tropical storm, a weather storm, something happens that causes you to take action. And all hazards for us in the county and the region comes down to we look at our resources and our capabilities that we have, and we design plans that are scalable and flexible to incorporate those resources and capabilities no matter what the event is. Because once something happens and you need to mobilize or we need to activate our emergency operations center or start to work with our partner agencies like the Department of Public Works and Environmental Services or the police department or the fire department, depending on what the incident is, then we're there to communicate and coordinate. We've had the process and the procedures in place so that we don't get caught off guard.
So it sounds like you don't necessarily have to plan for each single event. You just come up with a preparedness plan that you could activate per se.
It would work with anything.
For any event.
Absolutely. And in a small scale, and always look at it as a small scale, is an all hazards approach is in your house, you lose just your individual power. Your power goes out. What is your plan to go? in the grand scheme of all hazards, does it really matter if you lost your power because of a hurricane or a tornado or a snowstorm? No, it means that you still don't have power, so you have to be prepared for it no matter what the cause is.
I once heard someone say that if you're prepared for one, you're prepared for all. So thinking about being informed, getting your kid, identifying what your local threats are, kind of.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the response tools that you have, you know, a snow shovel and some salt might be a little bit different, but you know, ultimately in the larger impacts, then as long as you are ready for one, you should be ready to deal with all of them.
Yeah. So what can you tell an average citizen if they want to know, or if they want to get a copy of the plans that we have? Where can they go to?
Sure, you can go to the Fairfax County website, and under Departments and Agencies tab, which is right at the top, you can click on Emergency Management, and then right on the left-hand side, you can click the link, which will bring you to the Hazard Mitigation Plan. We have our pre-disaster recovery plan of how the county will respond. We have our emergency operations plan that will give you an idea of what departments and agencies are going to do. So all of those plans are open and accessible to any of the residents of the county.
Right. And so, those are always, those are always plans that are constantly being revised and updated.
Yeah, we have review and revision cycles by the Board of Supervisors and Commonwealth law. We have to review and revise our emergency operations plans every 4 years, but we are constantly looking at it through every activation of snowstorm, weather events, whatever. We're looking at best practices of how to make it better, to update the plan, to make it more efficient.
And so is that only here in Fairfax County, or if someone's tuning in from anywhere else in the country or any other county, is that available to them as well?
Yes, it absolutely would be. And again, for like our hazard mitigation plan, we do it as a region, but you can go into it from the Fairfax County website. You should be able to go through it on your jurisdictional website, and then the plan is broken down within your jurisdiction for your hazard. So even if you're traveling and you want to take a look, you can see what you have, or have relatives in another part of the area that you want to help them prepare. So because it's a team effort. I think that when you as an individual or as a family start to do a preparedness plan and get the resources together, you know, you talk about it, it kind of makes other people start to think about it. So you can make it as a collaborative effort. So and you need to make it a collaborative effort, because if I do have to leave, I want to have a plan that my family or relatives know that I'm coming to their house if I couldn't call them or communicate with them ahead of time, or where we're going to rendezvous.
Yeah, just knowing that you're going to go to that place.
Yep.
We just got a question from Kara asking how often are the plans updated. You kind of touched on it with the EOP, as far as every 4 years.
Well, it's just for our viewers.
Emergency operations.
Thank you.
Sorry. Acronyms are our life.
So each plan has got a different review and revision cycle. The hazard mitigation plan is a 5-year plan. The emergency operations plan is a 4-year plan. Usually within the document itself, there's a paragraph or two explaining what the review and revision cycle is and how often it would be updated.
Okay, so if you go and look at the plan yourself, you could find it'll be right in the plan.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I see that you brought a copy of the latest regions all hazards mitigation.
Yes. So this is the old one. This is the one that we are in the old
I didn't
stuff.
want him to just
Yeah, so this is the current active one. No, I appreciate it, because again, for about the last year, I've been shepherding the project of getting the new hazard mitigation plan reviewed and revised, and it's working cooperatively with all of our partner jurisdictions and partner agencies, internal and external to the county. We have been working really, really hard for it. We had to go through the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Emergency Management to have them approve it. Then the plan went to FEMA and FEMA Region 3 for them to approve it. And then we're in the home stretch now, so within the next month or so we'll be doing it. Then this plan goes in front of all of the local governing bodies, town councils, board of supervisors, and they will make an official adoption agreement, and that is how the plan is finalized.
So you could hear that from our experts and our planners. They're doing their part in making sure that our county and our citizens are prepared. So the same applies for you and your family to get this process started, revise it, come up with other items in your plans, and also practicing it, which is really important. And make sure that other people are involved. Greg just mentioned that we have other jurisdictions that are part of the process. There's lots of agencies from within our county government. So that same practice or protocol applies for you and your family, making sure that other people are involved in your planning process as well.
Right. Yeah, I think that's key. Is we really encourage one of the reasons we're doing these types of things is to try and get people to kind of spread the word, get the word out to the community about these resources and kind of these tips and tricks and best practices for everybody to use. So that's
yeah. I would say the important part is just to start. You're not going to get everything right on the first try, but you keep going, you find what works, you move on, you share it with your friends and family with best practices, and everyone just gets better at it as it goes on.
Right. And do we have any questions that are coming in?
So I think we do have one shout out from a CERT member from Fairfax County. So the Community Emergency Response Team. He was just noting that everyone should join that team. It's a great program. If you're not aware of that program, you can find out more information about that through the county website. Just search for CERT or Community Emergency Response Team. It's a great program to get more involved in your community and in helping your community area during a major event or disaster.
Right. So you receive the training, you become a community leader, you pass that information on to others. There's other groups like the Medical Reserve Corps that's under the Public Health Department. There is VIPS under the Police Department, and also the
Volunteer and Police Service.
Thank you.
And then there's your volunteer fire and rescue departments out there as well within your local communities. I know they're always looking for people.
Yeah.
Right. So making sure that you become part of these groups as well, because one of the things, I used to lead a group in Arlington, and we often shared the information with them directly. So if something was happening, we let them know, hey, just heads up, this is happening. We're getting ready to activate the Emergency Operations Center. If we need to call you, just be ready. So these folks get the heads up a lot of times of what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice way of keeping an eye on your own community. It's neighbors helping neighbors at the end of the day, which is always a great thing. And I think it just, in general, makes the county itself more resilient to something. So they're great. There's a number of great programs out there.
And so we just want to stress the importance of being informed and signing up for with Fairfax Alerts. I almost said Arlington Alerts.
Oh my goodness.
But Fairfax Alerts. Mm-hmm.
If we're going to do the program, you might, because you might work here in Fairfax or live here in Fairfax, but work in Arlington or Loudoun County. So the more informed you are, the better off you'll be.
Yes. Yeah. Now we alwaalways promote Fairfax Alerts here from Fairfax perspective, but there is another website you can go to called capitalalerts.org and .gov. Sorry, capitalalerts.gov. That actually lists all of the different mass notification systems in the region. So if you're not aware of which one serves you, you can go there and kind of find out, and it points you to their website for registering and stuff like that.
So if we don't have any more questions or comments, we can.
We got one more. How much snow on Northern Virginia? From Pat. I don't know quite exactly what he's asking. Maybe
Pat, if you're talking about tonight, so not going to get any snow tonight. It should be a weather event that will start off as rain, mostly move into snow probably between 5 and 7 a.m. What's been really nice is we've had good warm weather. The road temperatures are nice and warm, so you're probably not going to have much accumulation, if any, on the roads. So it should look a little snowy on the grass when you're going out. VDOT has had a lot of pre-treatment on the roads from the winter already, so it might just look pretty, but that's about it.
All right, so Greg's not just a planner, he's a weather guy too.
Yes.
So stay informed with Fairfax Alerts. You'll You also have a category there available for traffic alerts, so that's very handy.
Yeah.
Make a plan.
Make a plan, get involved.
Yeah, make a kit. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we can recite them all, I guess. Yeah. And then so our next topic for
March.
The March Facebook Live is going to be sheltering.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about sheltering.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be a very lively, interesting discussion as well. So please tune in for that. And
we'll have another expert to join us and talk about what happens behind the scenes. Thank you again, Greg,
thanks for having
being
me.
with us today. And we want to remind people to follow us on Twitter at Ready Fairfax and share the information with your friends, colleagues, and anyone in the community. And also, please share this video
share
as well.
this, like this, retweet us, and,
all the good stuff.
Definitely share. Read our plans. They're for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.